When Cadillac announced their intention to join Formula One, most people raised an eyebrow but didn't expect much noise right away. After all, it's not every day a completely new team enters the grid, especially one that still needs to build its very first F1 car. But now, out of nowhere, Cadillac has dropped a bombshell. Quietly and behind the scenes, they've been lining up potential drivers for their 2026 debut, and the name that's leading the conversation is unexpected, to say the least. Hey, if you've been keeping an eye on the silly season, you already know it's been wild. With rumors about Max Verstappen possibly heading to Mercedes, questions over Russell or Antonelli, and shifting strategies at Red Bull, it felt like the big drama would come from the usual suspects. But Cadillac has just tossed their hat into the ring with a serious statement of intent. They need 2 drivers. And even though they've been pretty tight-lipped about who they've been targeting, a recent interview with team principal Graham Loudon has cracked the door open, and what's inside that door has caught everyone off guard. You might have heard whispers about Bottas or even Sergio Perez, experienced guys who've been floating around the rumor mill. Bottas even teased a move on social media not long ago. But now, all eyes are suddenly on Mick Schumacher. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a move that almost no one saw coming. And it's not just clickbait. This is coming straight from the top of the Cadillac camp. And with the team finally starting to take shape behind the scenes, this just might be the beginning of something much bigger than people expected. Let me ask you this. If you were in charge of Cadillac, who would you choose as your lead driver for their debut season? Drop your choice in the comments. I'd love to hear your picks. And hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell. Your subscription is very important to help us grow and reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Now, let's be honest, when a new name shows up in F1, especially one without an F1 car yet, it's easy to assume they're just dipping a toe in the water. But here's the thing. While the Cadillac name might be new to the paddock, the people running the show are far from inexperienced. In fact, their leadership lineup reads like a who's who of motorsport veterans. And that's exactly why this whole driver story is getting so much attention. At the center of it all is Graham Loudon, Cadillac's team principal. This isn't his first time at the F1 table. Back in the mid-90s, Loudon was helping Richard Branson build the Virgin Racing team, a project that later became Marussia and then Manor. After that chapter ended, he stayed active in motorsports, most recently joining forces with Cadillac to build their Formula One program from the ground up. The man knows how to lead a team through F1 chaos. Backing him up is Nick Chester, Cadillac's technical director. Chester's history in Formula One goes back decades. He started out in vehicle simulation before moving to Arrow's F1 in 1995. From there, he worked his way through Benetton, Lotus, and Renault, even serving as technical director during some pivotal years. And just to add more to his resume, he also ran technical operations for Mercedes and McLaren in Formula E. If anyone knows how to build a fast car and get results, it's him. And then, just to put the cherry on top, Cadillac brought in Pat Simons as an executive engineering consultant. Yes, that Pat Simons, the same guy who engineered Michael Schumacher at Benetton and was a huge part of Fernando Alonso's championship-winning years at Renault. He's also the architect behind many of F1's current technical regulations. So yeah, the Cadillac garage won't be short on experience. With a brain trust like that, it makes total sense that they're taking driver selection seriously. And now that we know they're talking to names like Schumacher, Bottas, and Perez, the stakes feel a lot higher. Quick poll. Do you think a team like this can be competitive right out of the gate? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to give the video a like. It really helps spread the word to more F1 fans like you. With such a powerhouse team behind the scenes, the next big question was always going to be, who's going to drive for Cadillac? You don't bring in people like Pat Simons and Nick Chester unless you plan to make waves. And now, finally, we're getting a glimpse into Cadillac's mindset. And it's a lot more intriguing than most people expected. Until recently, Cadillac had been doing everything under the radar. There were whispers here and there, of course. Valtteri Bottas's name came up a few times, especially after some cryptic social media posts that hinted at future plans. Sergio Perez was also tossed into the conversation, given his vast experience and uncertain future. With Red Bull, these are drivers who've been around the block, with race wins and podiums under their belts. Naturally, everyone assumed Cadillac would lean on that kind of established talent. But in a recent interview with the High Performance podcast, Graham Lowden finally confirmed that talks are indeed underway. And the names being discussed are a surprising mix of experience and youth. And right in the middle of that list, Mick Schumacher. Yes, Mick. The same Mick who's been out of F1 for 2 seasons and has been rebuilding his career in the World Endurance Championship. Hearing his name mentioned so directly, and with such interest, caught a lot of fans off guard. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a passing comment. Loudon specifically said, "Yeah, we are talking to Mick," confirming that there are real conversations happening behind the scenes. That one sentence has completely shifted the narrative. Now, instead of just debating between Bottas and Perez, F1 fans have to ask, does Mick actually have a real shot here? Could Cadillac be the team that gives him a second life in F1? If you're watching this right now, I want to hear from you. Would you give Mick Schumacher a seat? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments and let's see where the fan base stands. And remember, if you're passionate about F1 and want to stay updated with news like this, subscribing to our channel is the best way to keep up. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer every day. Thanks to you. So now that Mick Schumacher is officially in the conversation, let's talk about what makes this so surprising, and maybe even a little controversial. On paper, Mick doesn't have the same resume as Bottas or Perez. While both of them have hundreds of Grand Prix starts, multiple wins, and years of experience with top-tier teams, Mick's career in F1 was much shorter and far more complicated. In his 2 full seasons with Haas, he only scored points twice, racking up a total of just 12 championship points across 43 races. And during that time, Haas wasn't exactly the most competitive outfit on the grid. Especially in 2021, when the team had to freeze development due to financial pressure, Mick and teammate Nikita Mazepin were stuck in a car that was basically undrivable. Still, 2022 offered a better shot, and that's when comparisons with Kevin Magnussen started to raise questions. Mick was never embarrassingly off pace, but he never really stood out either. Some fans think the Schumacher name might have worked against him. Expectations were sky high, and that kind of pressure can be crushing, especially when you're not in a car that lets you show what you're capable of. Teams noticed that too. After Haas dropped him, Toto Wolff brought him in as a reserve driver at Mercedes and even tried to pitch him to other teams, but no one took the bait. But now, Cadillac seems genuinely interested, and according to Mick himself, those conversations are going really well. Speaking to Brazilian media, he confirmed that talks with Cadillac have been very positive, calling it an honor to be negotiating with a team that's hiring top-level people for its debut. That doesn't sound like someone who's just hoping for a lucky break. It sounds like a guy who's part of a real plan. Loudon even echoed that sentiment, saying he's gotten to know Mick better recently and really likes what he sees, mentioning that while he's young, he's still experienced, and crucially, he knows how to work within an F1 structure. So, what do you think? Is this the comeback story no one saw coming? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown, like the video, it helps way more than you think. Graham Loudon made one thing very clear. Cadillac isn't just looking for drivers with a point to prove. They're not interested in being a rebound team or a proving ground for someone trying to relaunch their career. Instead, they want drivers who are fully committed to the project, who see Cadillac not as a last chance, but as a new opportunity to build something from the ground up. Loudon's comments about Mick, Bottas, and Perez came with a clear message. While all three are on the list, what matters most is motivation, not fame, not redemption arcs. As he put it, our team is not there as a vehicle for someone to prove a point. It's there to provide a position on the pitch for someone to prove what they can do for the team. That's a subtle but powerful distinction. It means Cadillac isn't just following the usual F1 playbook. They're looking at attitude, chemistry, and how well a driver can mesh with their vision. That's probably why they're also considering names like Felipe Drugovich, Frederick Vesti, Arvid Lindblad, and Colton Herta, young, hungry, and unproven talents who may not have made it to the big stage yet but are itching to get there. Of course, the driver market is wide open right now. There are veterans with uncertain futures, promising rookies waiting for their shot, and even current F1 drivers who could be on the move after this season. Cadillac has a lot of options, but if they go with Mick, it'll be because they see something others overlooked. So now the big question is for you. If you were in charge at Cadillac, who would be your two drivers for 2026? Let's open it up in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. You're part of what makes this channel special.